Hello guys! So I'm going to do another first impressions today, and I'm going to do another manga series because, well, I wanted to do a first impressions on a TV show, but the TV show that I wanted to do, ended. Actually two of them have. So expect a review on that. I promise I will do one. So, I love survival games. From Hunger Games to Battle Royale to Saw series to Would You Rather. I love survival games. Things that have to do with you have to make a choice. If you don't make the right choice, you will die. Those kinds of games. So if you're familiar with the titles that I listed earlier, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to survival games. Oh, also 13 Sins and the 13 Day of Death. Also a great survival game movie. Well, both of them are. So, why am I bringing this up? Am I going to be talking about Battle Royale? No. Everyone is familiar with Battle Royale. But I wanted to talk about a manga that I don't really see too many people talk about. Well, actually, it's a spin-off. I'm not quite sure if it's a sequel, but I think it is a spin-off. So, when I talk about survival games, I ran into this series called Doubt, or some places call it Rabbit Doubt. And it is a survival game type manga. And I think this is a reprint, or I'm not sure if there was another version of this that was brought to the United States, but this is the version that I have, and it's rather thick. And I believe it's about 2 volumes, and each one, I'm not sure, I think there was like a total of 4 or 5 volumes. But I thoroughly enjoyed Doubt, or Rabbit Doubt. Here is volume 2, so that's what that looks like. I will be doing a review on both of these on Muddy Cult, so be sure to check that out, because I really loved this manga, so much that I wanted to read the spin-off by Yoshiki Tonoga. Sorry if I said that wrong. Yoshiki Tonoga. By the name of Judge. Similar cover. That's about the first volume looks like. So, when I was adding Doubt to my anime list, I saw that there was some spin-off titles. One was named Judge, and I think the other one is called Secret. So, obviously, after I finish reading the Judge series, I'll be reading Secret, because so far, I really like this. Okay, end video. I'm kidding. I have to say more about this. So, obviously this is, like I said, this is a spin-off of the Doubt or Rabbit Doubt series called Judge by the same mangaka, Yoshiki Tonoga. Let me read the back. Envy, lust, sloth, wrath, gluttony, pride, greed. A group of sinners who bear the guilt of the 7 deadly sins has been gathered in an old courthouse to face judgment. To leave this place alive, they must offer up a sacrifice, one of their number. As the trial begins, who will the gravel fall on first? So, this series, Judge, in comparison to Rabbit Doubt, what I can quickly say about Rabbit Doubt is, it's more of, like I said, falls into that genre of a survival type game, but, in the manga, the characters are, fans of this, this mobile game called Rabbit Doubt, hence the name of the, manga, where your characters are all rabbits, hence the, rabbit heads, and you're supposed to figure out who the wolf is that's attacking the rabbits before, all the rabbits die, or more importantly, yourself. So someone captures them, and puts these rabbit heads on them, and each of the characters die one by one, and they're trying to figure out who the wolf is in their group and should try to get out. So it reflects the mobile game that the characters play in the book, so that's what this story is about. In Judge, it's not about a mobile game at all. There's no... They don't recycle the same story from Doubt, obviously. In this series, from what I read on the back, it is about a judgment. So think of Danganronpa. It's like that. So far, it's exactly like that. From what I read, this obviously is the first volume. So these characters mysteriously all get captured, and they get these animal heads placed on them, and they don't know where they are. They don't know why they don't know why they're there or captured in this abandoned courthouse. But they find the rules through a VHS tape. Saw, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. That they all are sinners, from what I said in the summary. They've all done something bad that reflects the 7 deadly sins. So they have to find out, who, judge that person, like say that, this person is worse than me, so we should execute them. So what they're supposed to do is, get to know each other or do whatever. They're not really given any set rules. The only rule that they're really given is that they have to pick someone to sacrifice, and only 2 of them can leave, if I remember correctly. So being a big fan of, well, not a big fan, I guess I'm a casual fan of Danganronpa. I am a big fan of the anime. I do want to play the games, really badly. So whenever I get a PS Vita, I definitely gonna, that's one of the number 1 games, or at least top 5 games that I'm looking forward to playing on the PS Vita. But that's one reason I love Danganronpa, because it has similarities to Judge, but the motive of having a trial is a little different. And Danganronpa, if you've never seen the anime, I'm assuming the game is similar. Only one person can survive, and you have to murder the other people in this school, makeshift school, but you have to get away with the murder. And whenever someone dies, then they all meet up to figure out. And once a person dies, they all have to meet up and deduce, they have a little bit of time to do some detective work and investigate. Okay, how did they die? Who was there? So on and so forth, like a game of Clue. So once that time period is done, they come into a courtroom, makeshift courtroom, and decide who that person is that murdered the victim. And if they all vote correctly, then that person, it got caught and they get executed, because clearly they didn't get away with the murder. But if they are wrong, then they get punished, and the murderer, wins. So in Judge, it's different, obviously. They're supposed, from what I can tell from the synopsis, because I haven't gotten to a point, especially in this first volume, where anyone really, exposes what they've done. I mean, there are little bits and pieces of hints of, oh, I did this, maybe this could be this matches the 7 deadly sin, I'm not sure. Really, you kind of just know more about the main character. Let's see if I can find his name. I think it's Atsuya, I'm not sure. They don't really mention too many names because, I just read another chapter from the second volume and they're just now introducing each other. To each other. So I'm not, I read a lot of stuff, so it's hard to keep up with names sometimes, especially when I'm early into something. It takes me a while for the names to stick. So I'm really in the early stages of this franchise. So really the only character we really know is the main character, which I'll probably put the name like down here somewhere on the screen. Post-production. But we only really know what his possible seven deadly sin could be, which I think is, I want to say maybe envy. I think his brother is interested in a girl that he likes, but he didn't go for it or something, but he always keeps, imagining being with this girl or whatnot, and he gets placed in here, but I don't know they give you a hint of how much he is into this girl, but it might be some crazy level of obsession, we don't know, especially in this first volume, you really don't know. But yeah, it really starts off with, I believe, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So really, on this cover, there's 9 characters. I don't know if all 9 of these characters are actually in here. There's a lot to keep up with, character-wise. 9 characters is a lot, especially if you're going to be following all 9 of these characters in one area. But one of them dies right off the bat, in the first page, he dies, and so we don't even know if he's part of that 7 deadly sin. And I'm when I started reading it, I was like, well, there's 9 characters, but really after that guy dies, there's 8. So I don't know if there's multiple, there's a duplicate sin in there somewhere, or if one of them could be the judge and is immune from the game. I'm not sure. But so far, they're just, right now, especially in this first volume, they're just trying to figure out why they're here, what's safe, what should we do, because, tiny little spoiler, the guy dies because he took his animal head off too soon, and so they're a little hesitant of taking off theirs, even though they've been given permission to. So they're just trying to figure each other out, and as you're reading, you're trying to figure that out as well. So it's pretty much the first volume is an introduction to these characters and their surroundings, and trying to just accumulate you know what I mean. Settle into this area. Acclimate, there you go. Into this setting with these characters, you're there. So, so far, before I started filming, I read the, it's 6th chapter. Yeah. So I just, before I started filming, I just read the 6th chapter and this volume 2. So that looks like. So, and the backs have different people being on trial here. So, and then you can see that the guy from the other one is fallen and dead. So, what I read in the 2nd volume before I started filming, they were just now introducing each other. Introducing each other, oh, my name is blah blah blah, I am whatever year student or a part-time worker or whatever. Pretty much it ranges from in American Standard, I believe a junior in high school to a junior in or a senior in college. something like that. So they're relatively young, I guess. So we're adults, but still young adults. So that's where I'm at right now. They figured out like a possible loophole in trying to keep each other alive, since they have a voting system. I won't go into that, but there's like a screen with all their pictures, and they have to pick who they want to execute. So they have 11 hours to figure this out. But in this first judgment, they don't really know each other very well. They don't even know each other's names. They call each other by their mascot head names until, of course, this volume when they actually do introduce each other. Let's see. I guess I could read the back of the second volume. Let's see. Judge, jury, executioner. Court is now in session for Hero and the other sinners. So the main character's name is Hero. Who have been herded like cattle into an abandoned courthouse to pass judgment on one another's crimes. Suspicions whirl after the first trial is held. Were the votes cast by the sinners born of deception or goodwill? As a clearer picture of the courthouse itself it is revealed, new doubts arise. What's to become of the one who has been sentenced to death? So, as I was saying, in the first volume, we really don't know these characters very well. We're trying to, fill around the setting and the game and whatnot like they are, because we don't know anything, they don't know anything. We know as much as the characters know, which isn't a lot, which I kind of like. I like experiencing stuff with the characters if it's done very well, and this, so far, is done very well, so I'm just like, what's going on, guys? What's going on? How does this work? What are the rules? I mean, there's barely any rules. Can we do this? Can we do that? It's all up in the air. You don't really know. But so far, like I said, I've only read one chapter in the second volume because I've been waiting to do this video before I delve into the second volume. But it seems like this will show the results of what happened in the first volume, obviously. So maybe everybody went with the plan that they decided when doing the judgment, or maybe somebody skewed it. You never know. So it's all about trust. Kind of like, the Saw series. Some of the games that they play, sometimes it has to do with trusting the other person. So far, I'm very happy that I blindly bought these. I've never heard of Judge or Rabbit Out ever. I just saw the cover and I was like, this looks super awesome. I like dark horror things. And then when I read the back of Rabbit Out, I was like, oh, it's a survival game. I'm gonna love it. And when I started reading it, I was like, oh, I'm hooked. I'm ready for Volume 2. And I got Volume 2 the same time as when I got Judge from Barnes & Noble. Because I just assumed if I got so consumed in doubt easily that I'm gonna probably love the spin-offs of Judge. I'm just like, no, I trust this author. I love this so far. I want more of this dark survival type game. I'm not sure what Secret is about. I'm sure I skimmed through the synopsis of it on my anime list, but I don't remember because it's been a while, because I just was like, oh no, I'm automatically probably going to read it. So far, I think there's only 6 volumes of this. I could be wrong. I currently only own these 2, so most likely I'll be getting the rest of them, obviously, because it's really good. And like I said, I'll probably most likely will be getting Secret after I'm done with Judge. Of course, that might be a while because I'm actually have a backlog of manga that I need to read that I bought. I ended up with maybe 15, 20 volumes that I bought between sales on Barnes & Noble and buying stuff from Onicon and Vacation. So I'm just catching up on that, and then I'll probably buy more manga because I love books. Some of the ones that I'm catching up on is right here behind me: Monster, Otomons, Present School, Deadman Wonderland, Trigun, Maximum. So I will probably be plowing through these first, or at least get halfway before I start binge buying, bulk buying on a manga. And I'm also reading stuff from work as well. And they always get new manga all the time. So, in short, overall, I highly recommend, reading Judge. You do not have to read Doubt before you read Judge. They're not related. So far, from what I can tell, they're not related at all. They're two separate games. This was more of like a survival whodunit game, and this is more of a you're worse than I am, so you should die kind of game. So think of it as Saw versus, I don't know, all I can think of is Danganronpa as a trial game. That's the only one I can think of. I guess for Doubt, Battle Royale or something. I don't know. So there you go. They both are rated for older teens, so I wouldn't recommend this for a child because it does have a lot of mature content, mostly probably the violence and the gore. I'm not sure if it has any sexual content or not. I'm sure it has like a little bit of profanity in it. I'm sure they don't hold back on profanity, but yeah. So don't give your kid this. That's just silly because it's pretty mature on the visuals. So yeah. So check out Judge. And if you want, check out Rabbit Doubt and Secret. They're the only relations they have is Animal Heads, written by the same mangaka, and that's about it. They're totally different games, but both are awesome. Anyway, enough rambling. I hope you enjoyed my first impressions for this manga, and I hope you check out more of my first impressions as well as my other videos. I try to put content on here every other week. Sometimes I fail at it, but I try my very best, and I'll see you next time on another first impressions, right? Bye guys!